I've been looking at my social media after seeing what happened to former President Donald Trump. And I've seen people making jokes about the fact that he was almost shot. I can't do that because I like to think a little deeper about things before I take that type of road. This could have been worse. It could have spilled over into many different things. This incident doesn't have to be an isolated incident. You know, if you watch a lot of media right now, everybody's talking about possible copycats. We're talking about retaliation. And the fact is it's possible. If Trump was killed, it's definitely possible that we could be seeing pockets of violence. Some people say a civil war. I mean, that's possible as well, but at least we would see some pockets of violence. And I don't think that people who celebrated would have gotten the true result that they wanted. Let's check out this clip real quick, and then we'll talk about that more in detail.
Oh, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Ready? Move! Up! Move! Go! Up! Hawkeye's here! Hawkeye's here, move it to the stair! Stair, get ready! Stair, get ready! We ready? Down. Shooter's down. Are we good? Shooter's down! Shooter's down! Are we good to move? Shooter's down, we're good to move! We're clear! Let's move! We're clear!
So in that clip, you can see President Trump grab his ear. And then you can see him go to the ground, a Secret Service cover him. You can also hear the initial 3 shots. Then there's a pause. Then you hear what I think is return fire from a sniper. Let's listen to it one more time.
Take a look at what happened.
Let's check out this map of the location where Trump was doing his rally. Now, as you can see, you see the stage. And then you look and you see some buildings and you see where they believe the shooter was. On this particular map, you see one side of the roof lit up, but according to some eyewitnesses, the shooter was actually on the other side, which gave him some cover, which gives an explanation as to why the sniper didn't see him at first. Let's check that out.
So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking, I'm estimating here, I have no idea, you know, but we noticed the guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Now, in this particular interview, the guy eventually says, why were there not agents on every roof? I remember that being the case in most situations. I've been to some rallies in DC. I've been and seen these things in person with different candidates. And there usually are more people on roofs, and they definitely have those locations covered. Even if those people are stationed there to make sure nobody's there, they usually have people stretched out. Now, I've heard the media talk about how there's been some issues and the Secret Service is stretched thin. But to me, that really doesn't sound like a good excuse because, I mean, we have 1.3 million people in our military. Why don't we have a few more people for the candidates? So I'm assuming that former presidents get a smaller detail and that's the norm. But usually there's some type of perimeter. I mean, you had state police, regular police, you had people in fatigues. I'm not sure if that was the National Guard, which would make sense. And then you had the Secret Service. So if there was a perimeter established, did the shooter sit on the roof or sleep somewhere overnight? Or did they just walk up and nobody saw? At this point, we don't know. Of course, people on the far left and the far right are coming up with their own stories. I'm just gonna play the middle right now because we really don't know exactly what happened. And hopefully we'll get an answer, but these investigations take time. I was sharing a news feed from a different news provider. If you want to see that, it's on my channel. But I also went and checked some other content creators. And one of them was Anton Daniels. And I think there's a really big point that he brought up. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because even before I saw his video, I was thinking the same thing.
And then more importantly, I happen to think personally that this is the best possible thing. The worst possible thing that can happen as far as an attempt on a former president's life. Worst possible thing that can happen with regard to there's an attempt on a former president's life. Worst possible thing that could happen when it comes to an attempt on a former president's life. But absolutely the best opportunity as far as capitalizing off of what has already happened when it comes to election 2024.
The fact that the shooter missed will probably make Trump much stronger. And more importantly, in most of my videos, I've talked about the middle. We always talk about the far left and the far right. And then we have people in the middle. And usually the crowd in the middle is the largest crowd. When you start talking about the extreme left and extreme right, it's not many people who are really that extreme over those beliefs. And in a situation like this, it can definitely hurt the Democratic campaign. It's definitely gonna make him stronger. We've seen him get felonies, it made him stronger. We've seen him deal with Fonnie Willis in Georgia, it made him stronger. We've seen so many different things happen to President Trump, and none of those things have affected his numbers. So for those who are celebrating it, you're not really critically thinking about what happened and the consequences of what happened. You just feel some type of way about Trump and you want him to pay and you want to make jokes about it. But in all honesty, this may have sealed the deal for him if he makes it to the election. And then on top of that, you have visuals like this.
Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold on, your head is bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, make sure you go.
Watch out.
I don't know about y'all, but in that moment, I saw a guy who could have been shot only seconds before, but had the wherewithal to get himself together and not run from the stage and hide, but stand up with no fear afterward. That's a very strong statement. And in a sign of strength, he also finished up what he had to do for the rest of the day. And then there's a video out showing him getting off of his plane wherever he had landed, walking under his own power, while we have Joe Biden not under attack, having a hard time walking to the podium to make a speech. I'm not going to laugh about it. I'm not going to make jokes about it. I don't want anybody to retaliate against Joe Biden. I don't want anybody to be successful if they try it again with President Trump. But if there was an attempt, a second attempt on him that was successful, the reaction from the people would be 10 times worse. When there have been other issues, even during his first campaign, where people thought that there was going to be some type of race war, I just remember the tension in the grocery store with people that you may assume was on the other side. What do you think about it? Am I off? Am I missing something? Am I seeing it completely wrong? Let me know in the comment section. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.